I think we're okay.
And
that's debatable, isn't it?
Yes, lots of people have debated that. Oh shoot, I don't see who might be first. I'm gonna miss it. Gosh darn it!
There are some odds-on favorites.
Who's our favorite? Who's our first?
Well, yeah, we have so many
Videos
favorites.
live.
Israel!
Oh,
I was thinking Israel's going to be first.
Yay! And we got to be followed up real quick.
KK.
Bye, KK. Awesome.
Yeah, KK won't be any later than second or third.
I know.
There's just no way.
She's usually our
There's Robbie Berry.
number one. Robbie Berry. Yay.
A Rosalie Eduardo.
A Rosalie Eduardo. I was waiting for Mike to say that first.
I figured she was.
Doug Swenson. Yeah, if I don't say it first and if we're quiet for a minute, I'm waiting for Mike so I don't butcher it.
Jenny Pace, good to see you.
Hello, Miss Michelle. Great to see you.
That's, I think, Mr. M. Michelle. Well, Michelle M. Michelle
Okay,
M.
we'll take it. We thank you for being here.
Yes.
Carolina Dream. Maria, great to see you. K-Heads.
Awesome.
We got a nice roll in already. So wonderful.
That's good. You know, yes. I worry about Evolutionary just because it's the more censored of the two.
They're picking on us. We're trying to revive it, you guys. We are. Because, you know, we love them all. We need them all. Everybody. Hi.
Robbie, did you see that we did the new Qigong video?
Hi, Paige. Yeah, did you like the new Qigong video, you guys? It was really good. Show them again. Did you already show them?
Well, it's on EEARTS, so we have a new Qigong video. It's 25 minutes long exactly. So hopefully you can find time to put that into your regular routine.
Or even just a little piece of it. We're going to be going on Patreon. We're going to break it down piece by piece and tell you what unblocks what, which meridians it opens up, and all that fun stuff. But this is just going through it once, and you know, it just feels so good to be around. Oh my gosh, Israel, no you did not. You did. Thank you, Israel. Thank you. Please stick around. We're going to definitely do Dean's.
Oh, thank you so much, Israel. We appreciate you.
Energy work and patterning in your honor and everyone else who helps us support. But this is really nice. And Israel, you know how it goes. You've been such a supporter, and we've worked on you before. If you need anything, you holler.
Yes. I'm glad that you enjoy the video, guys. There's a lot more to come. We have a lot more planned, tons more planned. Actually, you know, again, we plan on doing a lot of teaching. I used to teach in person at least twice a week, every week, Qigong, and I would also teach a combination of Reiki and Pranic healing and Qigong to people in all-day classes on weekends. It was a lot of fun. I really miss the hands-on teaching.
You miss the hands-on teaching.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, it really, really was. And being in a room with people. But we're going to try to do this with Zoom.
With Zoom. If you have a good connection, we can work on you one-on-one, or we might start classes soon. Probably, you know, through the holidays. So even if you guys know of somebody who could use energy work or healing, you can buy them a session. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, and we've had people do that before as well. Also, we did have over on Patreon this live. So we're able to go live on Patreon too. Patreon has its own server now. So that's awesome. If we ever run into big problems on YT, we could always go to Patreon. And this was all about detoxing. Almost an hour discussion. It was a lot of fun. Very, very intimate.
And if you guys are in there when we're doing it, we can give you one-on-one information because it's very personalized. It's super easy to say, oh, let's detox. But people are so specific, and you might have questions on that, and we're there to answer them.
So, yeah, Mark Smith he says, anybody hearing a new high-pitched frequency in their head? Always different frequencies coming and going. You could feel it. We feel them. We sense them all the time. It's massive upgrades. Yeah, this is sad to see. This is Vegas today. Or yesterday, actually. There's been a lot less chemtrailing. What can you say? You know, it's nice when you get the pure blue skies. Pretty good today overall. Overall, it's been way better with the chemtrailing situation. Thank you so much, Michelle. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It's so much appreciated, you guys. It really helps because they're just, it helps us get the word out. It really does.
Oh, things coming, guys. Things coming. Vegas is dying. They say Vegas is really having a hard time economically. When you look at this video too, it looks like there's some low-level smog just hanging. Doesn't look healthy out there.
Ew.
I mean, just low-level smog hanging.
Yeah, Robbie's saying it'll be perfect, perfect to look at the sky unless they're spraying, and look what you got.
Yeah, absolutely. Hate seeing that spraying. Okay, so this was a big deal, and Cindy had everybody telling her about this morning. Amazon package delays. I noticed it. I noticed it. We do unfortunately use Amazon a decent amount. But yeah, there's been all sorts of delays. Down detector, as you can see here, AWS, Amazon AWS. This was a big event.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's huge.
People couldn't get to their online classes. All of my online curriculum was out today. All we kept hearing was, we don't know how to fix it. The thought is it might be a cyber attack, So there was an episode with China yesterday saying that the United States did a cyber attack on China. And, people are thinking this might be a tit for tat. So Snapchat, Facebook, Fortnite, many other websites today down. A lot of delays for Amazon packages. Wow. I think, again, we're going to be in for a lot of things going down for long periods of time, and also delays. I mean, it's just, everything just keeps rolling on in this direction. Operational issues in the U.S. East 1 region, one of the largest data centers in Virginia. Increased error rates and latencies. Wow. Engineers immediately engaged, actively working on mitigating the issue and fully understanding the root cause. Will provide updates.
Oh, that's right. Robbie is reminding me Mercury is at war with Mars. Yes, that would definitely cause some abrupt issues with communication. So
this is what you have when you have massive, conglomerates, when you have these huge, enormous companies like Amazon, for instance, that so many people count on them every single day. And it's more than Amazon because it's their cloud service. So Snapchat, Roblox, Amazon Alexa, Fortnite, Ring.
Somebody was watching.
That could be security systems. Robinhood, Venmo,
Pluto TV,
Lyft.
The cat in the tinfoil hat. I love names that are fun. My Pluto TV went off, and my Whatnot app on my phone. Yikes!
McDonald's app. Yeah.
Wow.
But how about Ring? I mean, Ring.
Yeah,
a lot of people depend on Ring for their safety.
Yep. Keep an eye on themselves or other family members. Yep.
And look at this. What is going on with the planes? This is a 747. It's a cargo plane and not a passenger, thank gosh.
Yeah.
Because this would have been horrible. This is in Hong Kong. Emirates Boeing 747 cargo jet veered off the runway after landing, striking a ground vehicle, dragging it into the water. 2 ground workers were killed. The crew survived. What is going on? I mean, it's beyond obvious that there's a lot of things going on with planes.
Yeah, there's not. I mean, it all looks innocent enough. Oh, 2 planes just clipped on the runway. They're, or this little plane crash landed, or this just veered off the runway. But I mean, it's several a day, and I don't think it's always been like this.
No, it hasn't, but it keeps revving up. So it's just more and more. It makes you anxious if you're going to be taking trip or a loved one. So Avi Loeb, he is fun. I listened to this whole thing this morning. It's kind of like he's saying, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Literally, that's pretty much what he's saying. The direction of the center is alien technology. What he's talking about is this is a classic maneuver. What Three Eye Atlas is doing right now. They zip in close to the sun, and then they speed up and they utilize the sun's gravity to slingshot it into a new trajectory. And, for one, it's in line with the elliptical of the planet. So our planets don't kind of go all around the sun willy-nilly. They stay in a plane. And in fact, again, the galaxy itself is mostly contained in a plane. And so it's in alignment with the plane, which is more than, a coincidence in many people's eyes. It's, again, giving off all these different chemicals which make no sense, when you're talking a traditional comet. And when you look to the channeled material that's coming out, it's almost all very congruous. I mean, the channelers are all saying the same thing.
Okay. Robbie is saying the volume is very low. It seems like it's a new normal, though. Okay, KK sound is great. Sorry, sweetie. Somebody just complained. It's been off and on. We'll talk a little louder. How's that, you guys? I don't want you. Some have volume troubles. Some we might stick to the roof. We're sorry.
Okay, so this is shows the microphone. So you want to be. I like to get it into the yellow.
More into the yellow.
If I'm in the yellow, I'm good. When we get red, then we could end up fuzzing and giving you all sorts of bad sound. So it looks good to me, what we're recording and what we're sending.
But thanks for letting us know. So we can always do better.
I think, again, it's the technology itself. They're getting us ready for all sorts of disruptions. And I think also it's because they're going to have the solution. What's the solution? They're going to have a beautiful little apartment for you in some massive building, where, you just get the chip in you. Everything is taken care of. Hopefully Amazon service won't go down. But you're going to get your drone deliveries. You'll never have to leave your building. They'll give you a little job to do remotely, and it's all taken care of. You don't have to move. You don't have to do anything.
Do you remember one of our family members sent us a while ago? It was kind of like a My Pet Goat video clip where they showed this guy in it was a containment center, after some war, and there were these war jeeps driving up and down the road, and he had an allotment every week where he had to spend that allotment on his food, on his rent, on his entertainment, and the only way he could get out was to do a kind of ouchie that was experimental.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, no, I totally remember that. And then there was another video that came out about that too. I forget who put it out. And then, and when you look at it, we're going to get to something that to me is so beyond obvious, because what you have, again, all of a sudden, everybody, you'll find thousands of people saying the same phrase. Remember how you could see news anchors and they'll all use the same phrase. You'll go over 300 different news outlets, and they're all chirping the same little tweet. And that's what's happening right now with, again, the climate change thing. Again, they want you. Have you ever seen Co-op City in New York? And it just gives you for instance, when you look to China, China, honestly, it's pretty clean overall. The technology is way ahead of ours for the most part. But again, it's that compliance and lack of being able to be an individual. That's the thing. It's conforming to everything that they put out there, and taking away your liberty and rights. So, yeah, Avi Loeb is warning that maybe you should take your vacation before October 29th, because that's when Three Eye Atlas swings around the sun, and it might just have a different trajectory when it comes on the other side. And, right now, it shouldn't come too close to us. It really shouldn't. It's going to be like 2.5 AU, so 2.5 times the distance from the Earth to the sun away from us. Comes much closer to Mars. But at the same time, we're going to have to see if it has a change in trajectory. And because he's very, very suspicious. So he says that. He says, again, if you have a vacation, you might want to take it before the 29th because the mothership could unleash all sorts of drones and little ships. Let's see if I could get this clip.
On the volatility of the market with an expiration date of October 29th in order to make money. And I immediately thought that I don't know if there will be meaning to money if this object turns out to be technological after October 29th. If you want to take a vacation, take it before that date, because who knows what will happen. Now, it could be a mothership that releases mini probes, that they come to Earth. The Galileo project that I'm leading is looking for unidentified anomalous phenomena, and we have now 3 observatories, and we will check if after October there is more activity. That would be interesting to check.
He is actually pretty likable and he's pretty funny. And so, if you got vacation time coming, you might as well take it before October 29th. Now, what's really, really curious is Cindy also got something sent to her from a gentleman that was saying that there's going to be an anomalous event on the 30th, one day after the 29th, in which the Schumann resonance might go up tenfold. And if that happens, are we really talking about something that we might look at as the splitting of reality? I'm seeing more people coming out and saying that out there, that they think that, you might have a rapture type event. There might be some people that ascend and are no longer here. There are those. I mean, Bashar, if I'm remembering correctly, and yes, I am 60, so there's a chance that, some of the memory might be a little cloudy, but I'm pretty sure. I remember hearing Bashar say that when it comes to the rapture type events, it's not going to be people dogma-wise. It's going to be your frequency, but that there might be waves of people going at different times, and it might look like different things. Could look like all of a sudden there was a ton of people having heart attacks and they're gone. It could be, that people just literally go missing and you're thinking, that's strange. I feel like I missed somebody, but I can't remember the person. Didn't I have a brother? Yeah, it's weird. Cindy does get that when you talk about the big sun sneezes is what she was always terming it, with these energy waves that come off the sun, they're quickening the ascension process and literally will lead to great leaps in our consciousness. There's going to be many. They're going to come off and they're going to keep increasing in intensity, and it's the birth pains.
It is, and it's going to be, birth pains is such a good way to put it, because things get a little bit harder and more difficult. Please take care of your temple. Drink lots and lots of water. If you're, not in the greatest shape, at least drink lots of water, because that will help any detoxing that needs to be done from the sun sneezes.
JW says, drones released. I saw that Spider-Man movie with drones in a movie. That's exciting, but drones like that in real life, yikes. Yeah, we're going to be leaning on you to protect us, JW. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I hope we really do have an Iron Man or a Hulk that we could call on. Wouldn't that be cool? Again, I think that the future is it's going to be like the most insane sci-fi movie you've ever imagined. I really do think it's going to be pretty wild. I think it's going to be mind-blowing, because I would be willing to bet that you will have some sort of ETs on your screen within a few years. I do think that they are going to introduce some. I don't like the idea of the Chitauri coming to Earth. Again, the Chitauri, coincidentally, according to African myths, are a reptilian group that come in and they're very aggressive and warlike. Marvel Comics has the Chitauri. They took that myth, for whatever reason, they chose that myth, they brought it up to date, and they've had the Chitauri battle against, Thor and Loki and all those folks over there.
So, All About Live says, will 3i Atlas land on Earth? I do not get that. I don't believe that it's capable. However, I do believe that there are other entities with it that could possibly.
Yeah, I think I've shared with you guys, and I shared that video that I posted way back in 20. I had to repost it in January of 2018 because YouTube took it down, and it's here on Evolutionary. And I shared with you guys, like, the first big vision I had was what looked like an alien invasion, and it scared the crap out of me. And I was 18 years old at that time, and I was living in my first apartment. I had come home from work, and I just plopped down, and I get this, like, vision of ships under the water, coming up out of the water, ships in the sky as well, and there's more than you can count, and a sinking feeling in my stomach saying, there's nowhere you could run and hide from this. There's just too many of them. When we asked the guides about that, they told me that particular event that I saw was a memory. And that's what happened in the past. That's what they had shared with me. But could we see a replay like that? We could see something like that. It's a possibility, honestly. I don't think malevolents are coming to take over because they've been here. They took over thousands of years ago, and that's really the reality. So I think, again, a lot of what we're seeing are just curiosity seekers. A lot of those, probably most of the ships are curiosity seekers, and they're our own, but there are some that are benevolence as well. And we don't feel that 3i Atlas is a malevolent ship. And really, when you look at it, most of the channelers out there are saying the same thing. They think it's benevolent. They think it has to do with really a scientific mission of monitoring ascension, and also, in some cases, terraforming planets, literally seeding life.
It's an exciting time to be alive. We're seeing so much change, even in the smaller political arenas. And I know things are not perfect, but we're seeing glimmers of hope that we didn't see in like 2021 and 2022. It was like everyone was running rampant, getting away with everything. But now it's like there seems to be things turning. So I'm just holding on to the things that I like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys didn't know that JW, he also has an alter ego as Iron Man, did you? No, I guess not.
He's amazing.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have Luis Elizondo. Whether you think he's controlled opposition or the real deal, again, this is something for each person to decipher for yourself. You feel into it. So here he says exactly what the U.S. military contactee CJ told Red Collie, Dr. Horace Drew, years ago. Something's coming which will affect everybody on Earth adversely. Since I have no security oath and translated the original friendly alien message, I could tell you exactly what Luis means by the word imminent. Imminent threat soon to Earth's leaders and civilizations. Yes. Expose and disband hidden knowledge to all citizens. Progression imperative for combined survival. Ebens have sent a space vehicle threat. Ebens, I had an encounter with Ebens when I was 7 years old, scared the crap out of me. But it was a benevolent being. It wasn't malevolent. I was terrified. It came into the bedroom and just to say hi. And, thankfully I've since learned that it was a friend from before this incarnation. Just to let me know they got me still. Beware of Orion and Z Reticuli. Yes, absolutely. 2 gray alien home stars is Orion 1350.3 and Z Reticuli 39.170. Evolutionary advancement needed to prevent takeover. Does 3i Atlas look like a space vessel threat to you? Well, anyway, again, to the system, it's a threat. Absolutely. Because this is the end of the system's dominance on planet Earth. To them, it's an existential threat. They're terrified of it.
I think so. I mean, this is really, really wild. And, JW cheesecake is my favorite. And
Oh,
if we
God,
make
yeah.
it out that way, I will expect a slice
Yes, absolutely.
or a whole cake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we ever make it to DC there. Okay. Latest stellar core images before they were scrubbed from public viewing. There's been a lot of these. Again, I had a friend that was very, very gifted and, said that what was going on here was most of these, and Cindy has confirmed years later, most of these that you see, I mean, ships, they pull energy from the sun. The sun's also a portal. Yet we've had help in mitigating the release of the energy that's coming from the sun for the evolutionary process of humanity and the rest of them too. I mean, because there's more than just us here on Earth that's getting the benefit of the sun's life-giving rays, and also DNA healing rays. The cosmic rays are coming in from other stars, other suns, are all helping this evolutionary path as we are going to step into our birthright. We are powerful, creative beings. And literally, we are creating worlds all the time, whether you realize it or not. So many of these ships are also making it so, they're mitigating potential damage. They're helping to smooth out the rough edges, so to speak. And yes, they also do use the sun as a portal or also as an energy source on a regular basis.
Indeed, they do. That sun is so multifaceted. And when I did have my experience, it was the sun. I was just floating in front of the sun, and it was surprisingly easy to talk to as source. So it didn't have to tell me it was source. I just knew it was source. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. For me, it's very hard, the feeling I had. It's hard to describe. So I think it can do just about anything and everything we could ever imagine, be a planet, be a city, be a friend. You can talk to it anytime, and you would be surprised. It's very much like talking to your best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, Robbie was talking about Stefan Burns and, talking about Earth-sized plasma entities. Well, yeah, again, the Earth is a conscious being, and, there's every single star out there. This is the evolution of the soul. So, the soul starts out really doing more what, you might look at as more basic things to progress, like an elemental. The elementals that literally take care of plants, trees, there's elementals taking care of your body. Again, you're not just one consciousness. You are a massive conglomeration of ultimately trillions of consciousnesses. When you look at all the bacteria inside your bodies, every individual cell, and then when you start going out into the different densities and realizing all the different dimensions that you exist in, it's mind-blowing, guys. It's totally mind-blowing. People don't have, the masses don't understand this. They will. And this is some of the information that's going to be released in the years that are upcoming. It's, mind-blowing, but it should be reassuring too, because, we simply move from one state of consciousness to another. This, by the way, is something that's gigantic, going by Saturn, and again, the Saturn has been utilized by the dark matrix as an amplifier, sending out signals. The rings are literally constructed, and they use it again as an amplifier to send out signals. We know there's a hexagram on the bottom of it, a storm, they say. When we look to the cubes, like the Black Rock Black Cube, when we look at Trump's Tower and the Black Cube, and Mecca, the Black Cube, we look at New Jerusalem, which is the Golden Cube. It keeps coming back and again and again and again. And in many ways, this is also referring to Saturn, which in many different myths, we find Saturn being talked of as a past star. So when we look at the life of a soul, going from an elemental being, eventually having a life, let's just make it simple, as like a fish, and then maybe a bird, and then maybe a dog, and becoming a human, then maybe becoming something that we might call a god, and then going on from there, and again going upwards and doing bigger things and supporting more life. We could look at it like these stars we see out in the sky. Ultimately, our higher selves are stars, and our bodies are made of stardust. As the song says, it's so true.
So true. I mean, everything on Earth, if you think about it, I mean, oh, yeah, thank you so much, Paulo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please, you guys, stick to the end, because we're doing special patterning and tunes at the end. For all of you, and thank you especially for those of you who help and sponsor this video, because we don't get a lot for these videos. We're definitely not in it for the money. We're in it to spread the word and spread the love. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, this is just such a wild ride, and the closer we are to Earth, the better we are going to do. But if we look at it, I was just talking to Mike about this the other day. If we look at it, there are a lot of synthetic things out there. However, they're still ultimately, they are from the Earth. But when we're looking at synthetic things, they're like 2 and 3 and 4 times removed from the Earth, so they don't mesh as well with the human body, if we're eating things that are artificial, taking things that are synthetic. So really, we really want to stay as close to the Earth as possible. That's, been the best for me, anyhow.
This looks like a rehash article here, but it's a new one. Earth just got a tiny new space buddy. Astronomers discovered a quasi-moon named 2025 PN7, a small asteroid about 60 feet wide that travels around the sun in sync with Earth, making it look like we have a second moon. Now it's 10 times the distance of the moon away from us, 2.5 million miles away. So yeah, that's a big distance away compared to where the moon is. But the reality is, again, when they do things like this, what are they really saying? They're covering up ships. Now, they say it's going to stick around possibly for decades, maybe until 2083 for some strange reason. Yeah, and then it's going to leave. Again, this, along with comets, is a nice way of trying to get us to think that it's anything but a ship. Don't think it's a ship now, guys.
No, definitely not a ship. It's just some really mysterious big round rock that just floated in our space again. I mean, nothing big.
Can you tap in and see what type of entities are on it? Is it manned, or is it?
I think it's manned because it feels very, very dense. Very dense. I feel materials, like 3D materials. So.
And do you have an inclination whether this is benevolent, malevolent? Does it feel reptilian? Does it feel higher vibe than that? Is it avian?
I don't get a super high vibe at all. I get a very dense experience when I'm on it. So I feel things like what I would perceive to be heavy metals, irons, different metals, technologies that we might use on this planet. I think, I'm not going to say that the beings feel warlike, but they feel like they're overseeing something, or they're watching something, or they're waiting for an opportunity. But they don't feel like they're going to attack. They just don't feel friendly.
Okay. Do they feel like they're part of Earth's control system, part of the dark matrix, or a different group?
I would definitely say part of the darker matrix, but more of something on standby. Not that they're going to actively do anything right now.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. So just watching, again, the bigger reality is that what we call the Lyran-Draco Wars, it's still kind of ongoing, and when we think about Pleiadians, well, Pleiadians are beings that went to the Pleiades because their home planets were no longer safe or no longer there in Lyra. Oh, and by the way, what the heck are they doing tearing down the Whitehouse? It looks like it, does it not? Well, Whitehouse begins demolishing the East Wing. Holy cow.
So Benzomatic is asking, you don't think it's Blue Beam or the Great Deception? There's something about it that doesn't feel right. It feels like it's not on our side. I can say that much. Is it a Blue Beam? Could it be the technology? It might, but it just doesn't feel right, Benzomatic.
You guys see the three-body problem, when they made the whole sky, just change. I wouldn't be surprised with anything. Again, the Bible says the sky will roll up like a scroll. That's a big clue right there. So anything is possible, but I think where people get kind of going down a wrong path is when they think Blue Beam makes it so there's no real ships out there. But there's tons of real ships out there. And yes, they are demolishing part of the White House. Demolition crews on Monday began tearing down part of the White House to build President Trump's long-desired ballroom, despite his pledge that construction of the $250 million addition wouldn't interfere with the existing building. Okay. Yeah, construction teams were demolishing a portion of the east wing with a backhoe ripping through the structure, according to this photo shared with the Washington Post, and people that watched it happen. A cluster of people, including members of Secret Service, stood on the steps of the Treasury Department to watch the construction unfold. Sounds of construction were also audible on the White House campus. So he's long touted his plans for a 90,000 square foot structure that would nearly double the footprint of the main building and its east and west wings. He has also suggested the construction would not affect the existing White House. It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it. Well, it looks like it's going to be right there. Okay, anyway. Yeah, he says, big fan of the White House, of course. It's my favorite place. I love it. A White House official speaking on the condition of anonymity to describe construction on the ballroom confirmed that demolition process on the East Wing began Monday. Other parts of the project, such as efforts to preserve objects of historical value, have been underway for weeks. Officials declined to provide an explanation for his earlier comments that the new construction wouldn't interfere with the existing building. So officials had separately said that the ballroom would replace the East Wing, noting the changes made to that. Wow. What can you say? I mean, does it mean that the entirety of the White House and thus maybe even the system is going to change forever? Are we going into something different? Was it 1900, the last president? That whole thing with Trump, and then we had the Baron Trump books and stuff, time travel, everybody's talked about that too. And the fact that we have a Pluto return. So whatever gets a Pluto return gets totally remade, just like the White House.
So JW says, if there are alien families traveling in spaceships, I bet there was more than one alien parent who said, one more time and I'll turn the spaceship around. I'm sure there is. And when I was little, my dad would threaten to stop the car. And if he had to stop the car, we had to go find our own whooping stick, and it better be a good one. Because if we didn't pick a good one, then he was going to pick it. So I wonder how that would work in outer space. What would they use for a whooping stick? I don't know. But it's curious. You just got to wonder about these things.
Okay, so
late at night when you can't sleep.
So I'm getting that one out of there. Yeah, this is really, it's just, these times are just fascinatingly curious. Meanwhile, 2 charged in assassination plot against RT chief. Okay, this is not the one that I thought I had up here. Let's see if, there it is. It went forward. All right, Ukraine won't win the war now. So this is the newest. He says a victory is unlikely for Kiev. Wait a minute, didn't he say they could win? And then he said they couldn't win. Now he's back to they can't win. Trump said they could still win it. I don't think they will, but they could still win it. And then asked to clarify, he said, I said they could win. Anything could happen, War is a very strange thing. A lot of bad things happen. A lot of good things happen, he said. I don't think there's any good things with war. That's just my personal opinion.
No, there's not anything good with war. We gotta turn this whole ship around. We gotta figure out something else, because this certainly is not working well for us. I don't think so.
And Australia and Trump there made a big deal, $8.5 billion critical minerals deal. So the U.S. will be getting kind of a first dibs there in Australia. Again, Australia is almost the size of the United States, but nowhere near the amount of people. Just a tiny fraction of the population of the United States. And honestly, again, they're doing this to combat China, and at the same time, the reality is, if there was a World War III, Taiwan would be gone very quick. It would be totally under Chinese control. And more than likely, Australia wouldn't be able to be fully defended unless there's some technologies that they would use that would be way above and beyond, which very well could happen. But anyway, this is, again, a big deal with those rare earth minerals. By the way, the whole economic situation is so tenuous right now. That's pretty obvious. This hit me as weird. We don't usually see quakes all the way up here. As you can see, this is Sudbury, Canada. And it's rare. It's a 3.0. I mean, you see them sometimes a little bit more close to the St. Lawrence River. This is way in from the plate boundaries. So, yeah, as you can see, these red lines are all plate boundaries. You're so far in from the plate boundary there. It's just kind of unusual. It's at just under 10 kilometers depth. So, I wonder, do you get anything? Is that some sort of deep underground military base or something?
Yeah, the first thing I heard was this technology, so there's that.
Okay. So, yeah, military base. That makes sense. Oh, look at this. We got a little one over here in New Jersey, too. We had some Califon. Yeah, Califon. We've had some over there before. But when you look at it, 5.8 is the biggest, and that's in the Philippines. That's not too big. We have a 5.0 up here in Alaska, and we have a 5.0 in the beautiful Dominican Republic. And also, there was only 140 something listed, which is very, very low. So there might be a big quake coming pretty quick. We also have over in Iceland, by the way, a swarm going on around Katla, which is a volcano system. No eruption imminent, they say, but they're watching it. And then the flooding continues. This is Turkey, massive flooding. And this is the other thing I was going to talk about. Volcaholic does so much work that's good, but then they're preaching like they're a member of the WEF or what have you. So much about, it's carbon emissions, climate change, we have to change our ways and all that. Well, yeah, release the free energy. How about releasing the engines that run on water? Because many people have actually built those. And so it's so obvious. Again, they're going to try to get that carbon tax. The UN's going to try to do another vote later, maybe when Trump's not around, to block that, and then we'll have a global carbon tax in place. And all it's going to do is make the rich richer and make most of us poorer. That's really all it's going to do, because it's their fault in the first place. They've been running the show all this time, and everything is getting worse and worse and worse. The obvious answer is changing the global leadership. All of them, except for JW.
Yeah, except for that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's pretty obvious. This Turkey, this is Venezuela. Look at this. That's inside a mall. That's in a mall.
That's crazy.
So Turkey,
everybody's having a good time. Look, they're all smiling.
Yeah. So that's Asia, the bridge between Asia and Europe. And then over here, way in South America, it's very similar. Flooding going on, just atrocious flooding. And we jump over here, and this is the Philippines, and it's a very, very dangerous situation. You look at this guy. You know, this poor guy is up there on top of his house, and Sita just says that's horrible.
Says it's crazy.
It's absolutely horrible. So many people have lost everything, and this has impacted especially food. You know, the cost of food, the ability to produce food. All this is just, you know, obviously, it's pretty obvious. It's a plan to drive everybody over to Big Brother and say, please provide us with food, in which, you know, again, they have food that I wouldn't want to utilize. You know, look at, did you see Gil Bates? His plant-based meat alternative companies are like just falling apart. They're basically dissolving. You know, again, the world is rejecting these people. We're rejecting these people. We see through them. They're all the worst type of used car salespeople. It's pretty obvious, you know, they didn't get enough fluoride to accomplish their goals.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of yucky out there, and Sita's very concerned.
Yeah, she's saying, she wants, let me at him. I'll
Yes.
straighten them out. By the way, 1 year's worth of bread lost in the UK, wrecked harvest since 2020, report finds. So what they're talking about is like the amount of crops that have been lost are equal to 1 year's full production over in the UK. That's a massive amount. This is undermining self-sufficiency. Absolutely. You know, they don't want us self-sufficient. They want us dependent. This is also part of why I think that they're screwing with the technology so much, is so that we'll say, you know, when they come out with deals to go move into the smart cities, well, I could have internet that would actually work good. You know, you could have all the good comforts. This is all part of that. It's people that were living in, again, beautiful western North Carolina didn't think they had to worry about hurricanes. But, you know, that's one of the top homesteading areas, and so many homesteading channels that are over in that area. And they got just absolutely hammered, as we know.
Talisha says, can we join the Amish communities? Asking for a friend. Yeah, I get it. You know, wouldn't it be nice if we really could create something like that, a safe haven for people who could come and, you know, with skills and talent and do what they do and create something. But, you know, the reality of it, Talisha, it is so hard to uproot people where they live, their families, their jobs, their kids, their schools, and everything. So it's just the reality of creating a community is such a big endeavor. But hey, it would be great just to join an Amish family.
Yeah, absolutely. And this looks like aliens stuck in ravioli. It sure does. But they're pretty darn cute, aren't they? That's the stingrays. I was blessed to go down to Stingray City, which is off of Cozumel, many, many years ago, and it was so cool. You could hold 4 to 6 foot stingrays in your arms. That was before that famous guy from Australia. What was his name? Steve Irwin.
Yes.
You know, he got killed by a stingray. That was so bizarre. I had no clue.
So bizarre.
You know, and I'm out there with the locals, and we're like 8 miles offshore, and it's only waist deep. It was pretty wild. It was a beautiful experience of oneness with these gentle creatures in most cases.
Yeah, they are certainly beautiful. When I said that, you know, they do look like little aliens in raviolis. If you're not looking at the screen, you got to look at the screen and look at these little guys. They are so cute.
Yeah, I loved snorkeling and scuba diving, and you know, but I haven't done that in like 20 years now. It's been forever. I haven't actually even seen the ocean in 10 years, almost. 2017, I think, was the last time. So, yeah, almost. Been 8 years. I miss it. And I do miss good ravioli, too, just saying.
I know. You know, there's just something about that shape.
It is. It is, but I don't think I'd have stingray ravioli. Maybe lobster ravioli.
No, but the shape is so cute. I mean, they look like little hermits. Kermit the Frog's in ravioli too. It's just cute.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you are subscribed. Do a thumbs up. We do appreciate any help with the algorithms. Again, we invite everybody to join us on Patreon too. I think we'll probably be doing lives on Patreon on a regular basis as well. And Cindy has a tuning here.
Yes, we're gonna do a ding, and we want to say a huge thank you to Israel, Michelle, and Paulo for helping support this show today, and all of you guys. Your thumbs up. If you didn't see it, Mike did a wonderful video on Qigong. It's over on EEARTS. Yeah. And, do go see what we do on Evolutionary Energy Arts. We do a lot of different things, and we can customize your experience too. So there's a lot to offer. So here we go. Big inhale and think happy thoughts. Here we go. Source bless and namaste.
Much love, guys. Source bless and